Hear from Arsene Wenger about those three men in just a moment. Everton beaten by Manchester United last night. We'll hear from Sam Allardyce as he targets a striker. One man possibly on his way out of Merseyside is Philippe Coutinho, but could he really command a £160 million fee? And will Riyad Mahrez still be a Leicester player come February? More from his manager on that.
Yeah, early days, of course, in the January transfer window, but plenty of clubs looking to do business straight away. Let's drop in with Arsenal, first of all. And Arsene Wenger has addressed the issues surrounding Alexis Sanchez, Mesut Ozil and Jack Wilshere at his news conference at 8:45 this morning. All three.
You make progress, and next day you move back again. So as long as something is not signed, you know, you don't like to talk too much about it.
If you lose Sanchez, Ozil, Wilshere in the summer, how do you cope with that? What's the plan?
How we cope with that? First of all, we have not lost them yet, and secondly, we will respond to that by bringing in players of top quality.
Have you had any formal offers now the window is open? Any formal offers for Sanchez or Ozil this window?
No, we have not been contacted by anybody. No.
Paul Gilmore there asking the questions. One more to round off with Arsenal, though it's been suggested in numerous outlets that the Chelsea defender David Luiz could move to the Emirates in this window, but Wenger said simply in that media conference the reports of the Brazilian international joining Arsenal are not true.
There you go. Right, give us an insight, Steve. Welcome to the Transfer Centre. As a manager, right, what would you be working on as far as Ozil, Sanchez is concerned? Would you be trying to persuade them to stay till the end of January and beyond, or how would you be doing this?
One, if he wants to keep them, which I think he does, trying to sort out a new contract. And only he will know what's going on behind the scenes. We know nothing. So only he will know. And like he said, that changes from day to day. And you speak to players and you speak to agents. And one day, yes, they want to. The next day, no, they don't. Then they want more. Then they want this. Then they want that. He will want to keep them. He will want to keep his best players. And then he will want to keep them till the end of the season. And he will want also to... He will be having conversations roughly every day with these players and trying to say, look, this is our ambitions. This is what we're trying to do. You're a part of it. And again, it's looking the player in the eye and saying, are you with me? Are you not with me? And at the right time, in the right window, he either signs and gets them on board, or he has to let them go and make sure that he has replacements guaranteed.
What are the players thinking about? Let's think about Jack Wilshere, shall we? What's he weighing up? What's his best options?
I don't know what Jack Wilshere is actually doing in his career, because he's been injured a lot. He's just coming back. I think he's played now 4 or 5 games, one after the other, which is the first time for a long time that he's done that. And he's proved, when he's playing, what a good player he is. He's a good midfield player. He's unique in the fact that he looks forward, he plays forward, he runs forward, and he's got a little acceleration that takes players out of the game. It's a big asset. I wouldn't, if I was Arsene Wenger, I wouldn't want to lose that from Wilshere. I think Jack Wilshere just has to concentrate on his game, playing games, staying fit, being fit, and then I think either now he will sign a contract or at the end of the season he will have the depending on how the second half has gone.
OK. We heard from Aidan there that Arsene Wenger denied all reports of David Luiz joining the club, but how good a fit would he be for Arsenal?
Interesting, because I think David Luiz last season for Chelsea was one of the talisman along with Costa. I think he needs players around him, defenders around him. I'm not too sure that Arsenal have got the type of defenders that will get around him. It will be interesting, but I think Chelsea will want to get him fit and get him playing for Chelsea, because, you know, that's the only difference between last season and this season, is the stability at the back, and that leader they seem to be missing in that back line. Luiz provided it. I'm sure Arsene Wenger is thinking he can do that for Arsenal, but I have my doubts.
OK, so that's David Luiz there. Let's keep it Stamford Bridge just for now. The Italy international Giorgio Chiellini has reportedly been linked with Chelsea in recent days, but he suggested in an interview with our Sky colleagues in Italy that he and Juventus intend to have talks about a new contract. His present deal expires at the end of the season. We'll be getting the take of Antonio Conte later today.
So we'll hear from Antonio Conte a little later. He's 33, but he's a leader. Just what you were talking about at the back for Chelsea.
Perfect fit for Chelsea, perfect fit for Conte. That will be a great signing for the second half of the season, and something I think in which Chelsea have lacked. You know, Cahill is not the leader, he's a very good player. Christensen is only young. Rudiger has come in and is trying to adapt to the Premier League, and I think they've had problems in that area. Chiellini, wow, what a signing that would be, not just on the field, but also off the field in terms of leadership, which every team needs.
What else do Chelsea and Antonio Conte need to do? Do they finally draw a line under Michy Batshuayi and go for a striker? Where else do they need to strengthen?
Yeah, I think Morata has come in and done a decent job, but they're missing the talisman of Costa. He was their main man. However much you liked or disliked him or what he did on and off the field, he was perfect for Chelsea last season and was the main reason why they won the league. They need to replace... They've got good players. I think they're just lacking that toughness, that leadership.
That John Terry character.
That John Terry character, and the Costa character that they had. And a little bit, OK, we talk about David Luiz and making mistakes, but, you know, he has something, he's different, and he has that exuberance and charisma when he walks onto the field. It needs to be surrounded by good players, good soldiers around that, and good talents, which Chelsea have got. It's just the backbone, the spine, has been missing the first half of the season, and they need to replace that.
OK, let's get up to a familiar name at Anfield. And, of course, a few eyebrows were raised over the weekend when Nike mistakenly advertised Barcelona's shirts on their website featuring Philippe Coutinho's name. It's fair to say, though, that the Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp was underwhelmed when we spoke to him after yesterday's win at Burnley. Let's listen to this.
I heard about it. I can't tell you, because of different reasons, I couldn't be less interested in anything in the world. But somebody told me and I thought, wow, top story.
OK, that was Klopp's reaction. How would you replace a player like Philippe Coutinho if he were to leave?
I mean, that's difficult. You know, I would look at, obviously, Sanchez from Arsenal, and there might be a bit of movement there. And 160 million, that's a lot of money. You can buy a lot of player for that, but Klopp won't want to lose this kind of quality. He wins games.
Could you see Sanchez making that move?
I could. Sanchez will be ambitious, and I think he's that type of player that can replace. But when you've got Salah, perfect signing, Mane, Firmino, even Sturridge to a certain degree, Lallana coming back, you might not need to replace him that much, but Klopp will not want to lose Coutinho.
OK, let's keep it Merseyside, then across Stanley Park. And we understand club officials from Everton are in Istanbul to discuss a deal to sign Besiktas striker Cenk Tosun. Reports in Turkey said deal could be completed as soon as today. And here's what manager Sam Allardyce had to say last night.
We've done all we can, I think, to try and secure the player, but whether that is enough, I think only time will tell within the next 24 hours.
Only time will tell. Next 24 hours, Sam Allardyce saying. It does beg the question, though, why didn't Everton sign a striker in the summer? It was a glaring omission from their squad.
Absolutely, and you know, I think Koeman at the time, he said he was very close to getting one through the door, but missed out in the last couple of days. So I think they were targeting strikers. They just were too late for whatever reason to recruit one. I think it's cost them. It's cost them Koeman his job. And it's given Sam Allardyce a great opportunity to acquire an Everton squad full of talent that is only missing a striker. A striker from Besiktas, Turkey. I think, personally, unless they know the player, unless they know the background, he fits in and he matches to Everton and Sam Allardyce's style, I think is an unknown. And when you come into the Premier League, a club like Everton, in January, you have to hit the ground running. You don't get 5 months. And Everton have keep saying, this is what we're missing. Here is the saviour. He has to be the saviour.
Everton, big club, huge history behind them. How attractive a prospect are they for any striker out there?
I think so. I think, you know, that's one of the top jobs. I would have said, you know, Puel going to Leicester was the other top job to take in terms of when you're looking from the outside in. What good players, what good squad. As long as you adapt, which Puel has done, Sam will do, and he'll adapt his own style to Everton and get the kind of players and strikers that he wants. I think Everton is always attractive, and this player, I hope, is the one.
OK, you mentioned Leicester. Next, will Riyad Mahrez be looking for a move away from Leicester? Welcome back to Transfer Centre. Remember to stay across all the latest deals on our live blog. That's on the website and digital devices.
Now let's head to Leicester. They were in action yesterday. A very impressive win too, wasn't it, over Huddersfield, and the improved form in that game. And more recently of Riyad Mahrez has seen him linked with a departure from the King Power Stadium. The Algerian international handed in a transfer request last summer, but his manager Claude Puel is in no doubt that he wants him to stay. Let's hear from the Frenchman right now.
It's speculation to think something about Riyad. Riyad is with us, and of course I would like to keep, of course, our best player for the team, of course.
Well, here's Mahrez' Premier League record this season: 1,769 minutes played, 7 goals scored, 7 assists, and also 33 chances created. Dribble success rate of 42.6%. All of this after he handed in that summer transfer request, but he has certainly been in fine form under Claude Puel, with some good goals as well. OK, Steve, you're still with us here in the Transfer Centre. Will Mahrez still be a Leicester player come February?
Mahrez is a player who should be playing in the Champions League. He should be playing in a top 4 team. And I think this window will be his opportunity. I think Leicester did very well to keep him last summer. I think he's delivered up until January. I think himself and his agent will now be looking and saying, OK, the next stage of his career, he needs to step up and go to the next level.
Top 4 then. Top 4 team, or should he be... There was reports linking him with Barcelona. Is he a Barcelona player? Is he that good? How special is he?
I mean, the way Barcelona are at the present moment, you know, no player is indispensable because you look at Neymar moving for 200 million, and Barcelona have gone on and actually top of the league and running away with the league. So I think the kind of players that they're recruiting, Mahrez is currently up there with them. Has he got the mentality to do that, intensity to do that? I don't know, but he's definitely one that I think has seen his time out now at Leicester and should be looking Champions League club in this country or even abroad.
So one to keep an eye on as far as moves this window are concerned. Will it be a busy window, though, in Scotland? I tell you what, Charles Patterson has the latest for us. Good morning to you, Charles.
Very good morning to you, Rob. Yes, it's the winter break up here for the Scottish Premiership. Many of the teams heading off to warm weather training camps. Lucky them. Rangers are flying to Florida on Saturday, and they are hopeful that they might have a new this month. All the speculation surrounds Moussa Dembele. Will he leave in this window? There's been interest from Brighton. I understand there's also interest from Stoke City, who clearly need a striker. No deal is in place yet. Dembele came off in the Old Firm game at the weekend. Certainly hasn't made as big an impact this season perhaps as last season, and the stance from Celtic is that they are not needing to sell Dembele. They're happy to keep him. But, of course, if the bid came in that was too good to turn down and there was astronomical money involved, as Brendan Rodgers has been saying, then it would be something that would be looked at. So we wait to see what happens with Dembele this month. Eric Sviatchenko, the defender, he's been told that he can leave, and it's likely he will probably go back to Denmark. But, again, no fee has been agreed. Celtic have already brought in Marvin Komper, the defender from Leipzig, and I'm told they're very close to completing a deal for Lewis Morgan, the young midfielder from St Mirren, and he could return to to St Mirren on loan. Celtic are going to Dubai for their winter training camp, and it could well be that there's one or two faces with them when they head out there this weekend.
Thanks very much indeed, Charles. Let's get back to matters in the Premier League. Huddersfield on the end of a defeat yesterday at Leicester, but that doesn't mean they haven't been active in the transfer market. Indeed, their manager, David Wagner, has confirmed he's close to signing the Monaco defender Terence Congolo on loan until the end of the season. The 23-year-old has 3 caps for Holland and was part of the squad, actually, that finished 3rd at the 2014 World Cup. That deal, we understand, is expected to be confirmed in the next 24 hours.
Well, Jose Mourinho has hinted Manchester United may make some new signings in this month's transfer window.
If somebody comes, welcome. If somebody comes, welcome. If nobody's coming, we are going to fight with the players we have.
Steve, obviously a club you know very, very well, Manchester United. Does Jose Mourinho need to strengthen this squad in January?
No, I don't think so. I think he just has to get people fit, keep them fit. Lukaku, Ibrahimovic are an example. But I think he's got a good enough squad. And it's very, very difficult to find a player of top quality which will be required by Manchester United and will actually come to Manchester United. I think they made good signings in the summer. They've made progress. They've leapt up to 2nd. They're competing. Get people fit. He's quite chilled and relaxed about it. If it comes, it comes. If not, it doesn't matter. I think he's a big sign to the players. He's pleased with them. Keep going.
What he hasn't been really sort of chilled and relaxed about is Manchester City and the power of their spending recently. How much has he got a point?
Yeah, I looked at that and I looked at Guardiola's record over the 5 years at Barcelona, Bayern Munich and at Manchester City, and I think his net spend is £500 million, and he wonders why he wins titles. You know, you get good players, you become a good coach, and he's got great players, and that's why he's been successful. And Mourinho will always look to finance and to money and the better players to do that. But Manchester United can compete with the best in Europe, and they should be competing with the best. So there's no excuses on that mark.
So what is he trying to do there?
Just create theatre, not just on the field but off the field. As we mentioned about an hour ago, that's what Mourinho does. Keeps everybody guessing, and you and people at Sky debating what will be his next move.
And we love it. OK, you mentioned the window and players have to hit the ground running, how difficult it is. And what is it like for a manager right now? I guess half of you is hoping the phone doesn't ring, and the other half is hoping it does with players coming in.
I've got to say that with these windows now, there is a hell of a lot of planning going on behind the scenes in terms of looking at your squad, identifying what you need. And that's not just at the top end, but also at the lower end in terms of you need 3 players in each position. You know, so it's not just always looking at the top player in each position. It's looking at development players. It's looking at opportunities. And the scouts and the recruitment departments are working tirelessly from the end of August until the beginning of January on that recruiting process. All the plans will be, should be in place for January. They have a plan, they know what it is, everything will be lined up, and it's only when you come to the end of the window that clubs will panic, or who haven't planned usually panic and see what's about, or what they've planned for will only bear fruit at the end of the window, which is what usually happens.
Is the January window, I hear what you're saying about the planning going from August up to now, but can the January window be more reactionary? If a player, we mentioned Jesus, picking up his injury, a few months out, suddenly you go, do I move that Sanchez deal forward?
Yep.
Is it more reactionary?
Yeah, of course it is, and you're absolutely right. If Manchester City want Sanchez, they will get him in the summer at the latest. But as you say, well, we might need him now, and we might have to pay top dollar and extra money to get him in. Is that going to be worth it for the second half of the season? That's also reactionary, what you must weigh up. But a lot of planning and a lot of players will be identified before January window opens. It's just a case of, can the deal be done in that month?
Do you enjoy it?
Depends if you get the right players, you really enjoy it. If you lose your best players, you don't like it. And if you're reactionary at the end, it's normally a gamble.
We will see who gambles, who's happy, who's unhappy. The window is now upon us. Right, I'll tell you what, there's still plenty of stories doing the rounds. There's still